So what is going on, everybody? This is your boy Fly Island Guy, and I'm back with a new video, and this is going to be something different today. I'm really going to be focusing on my build. So this is the hardware that I use to play Flight Simulator, and it's the same hardware that I use to actually edit my videos and all of that as well. So I know there's one of those questions that people have whenever people do Flight Simulator videos. One of the main questions is like, what hardware are you using? So I'm here to answer that question. So just as an aside, what I tell you today by all means is not some kind of the end all and be all of hardware. This is just what I bought. I'm not recommending anything in particular, but just want to give you an idea of what I use. And I'm also not saying that this is exactly like this hardware performs well or anything like that. This is just what I use. I'll let you know if it performs well or not for me, and just be honest about it. That's pretty much it. I'm pretty much going to be looking at my list, my receipts from when I actually bought this, and I'm just going to kind of go through that list and answer this question and just tell you what I had. So let's go ahead now and let's start with the case. So for the case, I am using a Corsair Carbide Series 275R mid-tower case. Really, I'm just being cheap. I just wanted something that was kind of relatively inexpensive, but kind of gave me room to expand. So that case is about $80. And it's a decent case. You know, it's got an okay amount of cooling. It's got space to fit all the big components and everything, and it does the job. It's nothing special, and that's going to be a common theme throughout all of these computer parts. So there you go. So from the case, we will go to the motherboard. So the motherboard that I went for is, if I can find it here, the Asus TUF or Asus TUF Z390M Pro gaming board. It was about $240 Canadian, and really what I was looking for here was a board that will allow me to overclock. I made a mistake before getting a board that did not overclock at all. I did not realize that because I didn't really do my research before, or didn't allow me to overclock, and I ended up basically having a processor that was perfect for overclocking that I couldn't overclock with, and a board that I couldn't overclock with. So kind of sucked. So I made sure to really do my research this time and get the correct board. Once again, this is a board that's not, you know, super amazing in any way. Well, not to me at least. I could be wrong. It could be a sucky board, who knows? But as I said, I want to get something just a little more expensive, but not like top of the line. And this has definitely done the trick for me. On top of that, it's pretty cool that it comes with Wi-Fi built in, so it did the trick. All right, next up is one of the more important things that people think about when they buy, when they make a build, and this is the power supply. So the power supply that I used was a Thermaltake Smart BX1 750 watt power supply. I know some people will probably go for more powerful power supplies like 1,000 watts plus. This does the trick for me. It's doing the trick. So this power supply is about $80 Canadian, and it's okay. Once again, as usual, you can see the theme that I've been sticking with is middle of the road. middle of the road, fairly affordable. Nothing too crazy that you're gonna see here, but it all does the trick. From here, let us look at our processor. So this is one of the biggies. So I mentioned the RAM already. Did I mention the RAM? I don't know if I mentioned the RAM. I don't think I mentioned the RAM. So let's look at the processor and then we'll look at the RAM. Okay, so for the processor, I bought an i5 9600K, Intel i5 9600K. That was about $280 when I bought it at the time, which was like last year around this time. This is a processor that has a base clock of 3.7 gigahertz. I have it currently overclocked to 5 gigahertz, and that was about as stable and overclocked as I can get it before I started getting blue screens and freezing and all kinds of stuff. So I wanted to get it up to maybe like 5.2 if possible. I was trying to research it. A lot of people said that they couldn't do it. So unfortunately I was also one of those who couldn't do it either. So 5 gigahertz it is. It's giving me the performance that I need, so I'm not really complaining, and I still think that's a decent overclock. For somebody who doesn't really know overclocking like that, I'm pretty proud that I was able to get it done. It's not really that difficult to do if you don't know what you're doing, but it's cool that I was still able to do it. So along with the processor, I got a Cooler Master Hyper 212 Evo heatsink. That was about $30 Canadian at the time. And this is a rather large heatsink. It's one of those tower heatsinks. So if you're going to get this heatsink, make sure that you have space in your case for it, because it is pretty big. As you saw by the price, it's pretty cheap. So I mean, it's not anything too crazy, but it does the trick, keeps my processor cool, and I don't really have any sort of issues with it. All right, so let's go and take a look at our RAM. So RAM, once again, another one of those important things that you're looking for. If you're going to be doing any kind of flight sim, you need to have at least 16 gigs of RAM. That's what I've seen. Those are the recommendations that I've seen out there. And make sure you get some decent speed RAM as well. So that's very important as well. Some people just want to pick up the cheapest sticks they can find. I recommend getting something that is on the faster side as well. So my RAM is, as I said, Corsair Vengeance, 32 gigs. It's two 16 gig sticks at 3000 megahertz. It does go a lot faster than that, but these were about 160 Canadian at the time. So once again, this was like in my price range. I don't really know that these are like the best or anything. There's like tons of options out there for RAM, but this is what I chose, and this is what I decided to stick with. Next up, we are going to look at our video card. So for the video card, I am using actually, let me pull this up specifically. Okay, so I'm using a Gigabyte GeForce GTX 60 and 60 Ti. So if anybody does not know about that, that comes with 6 gigs of DDR6 VRAM. It's got an 1800 megahertz boost clock. So this processor, this graphics card I specifically got because it was recommended to get because it has a balance of performance along with price. So at the time this was 340 Canadian, and so essentially they were saying that the difference between this and a 2060 is pretty much that it doesn't have ray tracing. That's really the only difference. So and they were saying ray tracing is something that's absolutely needed right now, so I decided to just go with that. Go with this card. In terms of performance, I'm going to be perfectly honest with you. It does the trick, as you guys have seen on the videos. It's okay, but when I was doing the Paris landing challenge that just came out. In fact, I'm going to insert a video clip in here. My card is absolutely crawling trying to do this. It's just, it is not good. So this card will give you decent performance on I'd say high quality with tweak settings will get you decent performance. This is a tough one. They say you could fly in Ultra. I'm going to respectfully disagree. Yes, you could max your settings out to Ultra, but you're definitely going to have performance issues 100%. Even in areas that aren't that taxing, you will still get issues with stuttering, you will get issues with it freezing up, and so I am looking to update this card. I want to get the RTX 380, but right now that's pretty much impossible to find. So I'm just going to try and make do with this and hopefully pick up the RTX 380 early in the new year sometime. As you can see, as I said, it does the trick, but I know it's struggling to perform, especially for Flight Simulator. If you play anything else though, if you play like any other games, so for instance, I was playing Apex Legends, this card rocks, and you get absolutely awesome frame rates, and it's smooth and no issues whatsoever. In fact, I didn't realize that Apex Legends can look that beautiful until I played it on PC. The PS4 absolutely does not do it justice. So definitely get this card if you're budget conscious. That's why I got it, and it will work for you. It will work for you, but there's definitely like better. You're gonna need something a little more powerful if you want to really be serious and really push those frame rates in Flight Simulator. All right, so I think I've covered pretty much all of the main parts of the system. Forgive me if I've forgotten anything. So we've gone through the case, the power supply, the RAM, the processor, the heatsink, I believe I said the motherboard. If not the motherboard, the graphics card. I think that's pretty much it as far as the computer is concerned. So I'm not going to go into like audio and all that kind of stuff, because honestly that's not really too important as far as like flight sim is concerned, not for me. So I'm not going to waste time going through that. Okay, so also here we have the hard drive. So I have a Samsung 860 EVO SSD inside there, and it's 1 terabyte, which is awesome. I actually didn't realize that I bought the 1 terabyte one. I thought it was the 512 gig one, because I mean, right now SSDs have become way more affordable, but I mean, they still can be a little pricey if you want to go for like larger sizes. This one was 150 Canadian at the time, and yeah, this performs well. I actually want to pick up another one, and one thing that I did not notice is that I have not been paying attention to these rebates, and I've been actually shooting myself in the foot big time. So I was never one. I don't really order computer parts very often, so I don't really look at rebates too much like that. But definitely, I would recommend anybody, if you're getting computer parts, make sure you look at these rebates and go for them. Because even in the case of like the Samsung Evo, I would literally get half of the cost that I paid for that drive back if I sent in for the rebate. So I pretty much missed out on like hundreds of dollars here on rebates that I could have gotten, and I didn't go for it. So make sure you guys look out for those, okay? All right, so now at this point, I think I've covered everything as far as the computer hardware is concerned. So let's look at a couple other things that will be important to you if you want to do flight simulator streaming, or maybe any kind of streaming in general. So let's turn around and let's look at the Yoke. So anybody who has been watching any of my streams at all, you will notice, you might have picked it up, like it was hard to miss, but currently I'm using Logitech Extreme 3D Pro as my Yoke. I don't have rudder pedals. I don't have the thrust levers, or throttle. Sorry, that's what you call it. Yeah, I don't have throttle quadrant, nothing like that. So that's basically what I've been using for all of my streams. I've had this Extreme 3D Pro now for a long time, long time. My hat switch is all chewed up now. It's all broken, but it does the trick. It's old and dusty, but it's reliable though. And you know, if at some point it does give out, then I'll look at probably getting another joystick. But I'll look for the one that's got the separate throttle, just because the real downside of the Extreme 3D Pro is that if you have to manually control your thrust, you have to use two hands, because it's just a little like throttle switch on the Extreme 3D Pro. So I'd like to be able to kind of keep that free, but I'm not looking to spend the extra money on a Yoke right now. So, well, if the opportunity comes up, I may get one, but I probably won't. For my audio, so in order to record sound, what I'm using right now is an Audio-Technica AT2020 condenser mic. I've had this guy for a long time as well, and I pretty much use this to record audio. To record vocals. For like I do a little bit of like singing and that sort of stuff as well. So I use it for that. However, what I don't like about it is that because it's a condenser mic, it basically picks up noise from everywhere. It's really sensitive. If I have the fan on in the other room, let's say, that will get picked up by the mic. That's how sensitive it is. So I am looking to upgrade this. I'm going to hold on to this, but I'm not going to use it to record audio. I'm just going to stick with I'll stick with using this for, like, you know, making songs, that sort of stuff. But I will be replacing it with a Blue Yeti that's supposed to be coming this week. And once I get that all set up and configured, I'll be using that for videos from now on. One last thing. This is not hardware related, but for anyone who is curious as to what I use for recording my gameplays, I use the what is it called? NVIDIA Shadowplay. I think that comes as part of the GeForce Experience Suite, I think. But yeah, I used that. I just wanted something that was kind of really easy to use, really easy to get set up. And just doing my research, that's one of the names that popped up. I know there's other stuff out there like OBS and I can't even think of any other ones off the top of my head, but OBS is the one that shows up a lot. I don't know kind of what's better, what's best right now. Everybody seems to have their own opinion, but personally, for what I'm doing, this is working perfectly. I have no issues with it, and I'll be sticking with that for now. The main thing that I don't like about Shadowplay is that it's when I take like a screenshot, that sort of thing, like it actually has a little animation that shows up on the screen. So nothing wrong with that really. I've just seen a lot of people who are doing screenshots and like you don't actually see anything show up. They're just saying I'm taking a screenshot. So that's the main thing that I don't like about it. But outside of that, it works really well, and I personally haven't had any issues with it. So I hope that you guys enjoyed this video. Like literally this was just me talking about my setup that I use for Flight Simulator. I hope this has answered a lot of questions for you guys, and feel free to put your comments down below. Rate, like, comment, subscribe. If you have any questions or anything, man, feel free to ask, and I'll try and answer it as best I can. All right, this is it. This is your boy Fly Island Guy. I will catch you on the next video where we will be doing some more flying. Sorry for the stutter. Looking forward to getting back in the skies. Hope everyone's had a great Christmas, and hope everyone has a great New Year upcoming. All right, this is your boy Fly Island Guy saying peace.